much of the corruption that occurs in Nigeria is actually environmentally driven. People rationalize their behavior to, within that situation, either giving a bribe or responding to extortionate behavior based on the choices and the options that are made available to them. So much of the conversation about corruption really does not capture the fact that the environment is a powerful driver of corruption itself. If incentives, if there are very few incentives within an environment for people to avoid corruption, there's a good chance people won't avoid corruption. Corruption is a well-discussed issue in Nigeria, but it's really poorly understood. There have been very few studies looking at the behavioral drivers for corruption, that is reasons why people engage in corrupt behavior or refrain from them. So this is the very first study that has ever been done on corruption in Nigeria from a social norms approach, and an effort to measure the social beliefs and expectations that inform and influence people's decision to engage in corruption or not. We had several dissemination events all across the states where we carried out the survey, in the north and in the south, and as well in the capital city of Abuja. So audiences made up of anti-corruption practitioners, government officials have engaged with the findings and are very interested in what options and policy approaches we recommend for addressing, for designing anti-corruption interventions with a social norms approach. Most of the times very harsh and very sensational and extreme language is used to describe corrupt behavior. We argue and present in the report that that kind of an approach to messaging around corruption actually can be counterproductive, especially in an environment where legal sanctions do not appear to be enforced or enforceable, and corrupt behavior is normalized. So we recommend in the report that very careful consideration is made in designing messages around corruption. So you're able to engage with your audience, the message is relatable, and you can actually drive a collective change in behavior through that message. We make the case in the report that it's very important that social norms interventions are implemented first in very small controlled context, and then those interventions are measured for their effectiveness. And then things that aren't, the aspects that aren't changed can be fine-tuned within that context. So it is an approach that requires that you are monitoring effectiveness as you go along before you scale up.